That was very strange. Okay. So, let's make sure that we're good. Okay, we're good going. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at taxes. Federal and state that us employer has to pay. So, by pressing the continue button, here are the list of things that are going to incur when we are looking at federal taxes, right? We have to pay in for Medicare, right? Which is also known as the HI, which is also known as part of the FICA, which is the Federal Income Contribution Act, Federal Insurance Contribution Act, excuse me. So that's also going to entail Social Security. Now, this is all federally with federal things that we have to do. We also have to consider because we have employees, we need to also pay into their federal withholdings. Okay, not us pay in, but we have to hold the money to pay for the government. Okay, we have to pay a completely separate tax. All right, so looking at all of these, so these are all preset, especially because we have it set to California. These are just primarily the obligations that you would typically see when you are dealing with the federal. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click OK or continue. When I click continue. Okay, so here it's going to show you the state taxes that you need to encounter as well. So we have California, right? You have to pay into disability, you have to pay into California unemployment, and you have to pay into California withholdings. Which I've never seen. I've never seen that you would have to pay state withholdings. But here we go. Let's get started with the first one. So the first one is going to be the California EDD payment, which is going to be for the disability payment. So here we already have what do you call it? We already have those kind of preset locations to where this money's going to go to, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you are an employer and you are planning to set up all these things, you need to make sure that you're going to be sending the money to the correct agency. Okay, to whether it's the federal, you need to look up the exact location you're actually paying. Okay, but in this case, it's already preset. So for our first one, what do we have here? For paying into the disability employees rate, is it 1%?
Oh, this says 9%.
It is 9%. Oh my gosh. Okay, so 9%. We do not have that as an option. We only have 1 or 0.
Well, it's 0.9%, so
0.9.
that's what this says in here. On your sheet it says 1%.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, this is different.
Okay, well, I'm going to choose 1% because I cannot choose 9. So the next one is going to be, what about employment training taxes?
Yeah, that does say 1%.
Okay, so this one's supposed to be 1%. I don't have 1%, so I have 0.01%. Okay, so there are a couple options that you might not be able to change. I think it's due to because I'm in 2020, so it might have changed and affected these numbers here.
No, you know what? You're right. It's 0.1%. I don't know why I'm just seeing the 1%. I'm seeing the 1 and the percent. I wouldn't see the 0.
Yeah. And the other one,
yeah,
the disability was 0.9%.
0.9%.
Yeah, I don't have that option.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose 1 because 0.9% is closest to 1.
Yeah.
All right, and then 0.1% here. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at tax unemployment for the state company rate, and what is this going to be?
This is 3.4%.
3.4%. Oh my gosh. Oh, let me put my percentage symbol in there. There you go. Oh, that's an ampersand. There you go. So this one, it allows us to actually type it in. These
Okay.
ones are kind of fixed.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and click finish. So that was that one. Now we need to fix. It's up to you if you want to fix them, but I think that was the only one that needed to be fixed. We looked at California unemployment. Do we need to look into California unemployment?
Let's see, I'm trying to find it on here.
No, because, well, let's see.
Does it say to go next?
Yeah, it just says continue.
All right, so we're done here. We've already set up every single one, right? Each one has its own percentage, which we just established them right here. We got 3.4%, we got 1% and 0.1%. Okay, so we have that all set up already. So now we can go ahead and click continue. Now we're going to be dealing with more with scheduling our items. So here we're going to be scheduling when our federal sorry 940 is going to be. We're going to schedule when our federal 491 is going to be, our California withholdings, and our California unemployment training tax. Okay, so here you go. Here's this window right here. I'm going to pull it down so I can see it. All right, so setting up payments and scheduling for the federal 940. Okay, so this is us paying our taxes to the agency. So first off, who are we paying them to?
EFTPS.
EFTPS. Okay, so right there. Perfect. Good. All right. Okay. And how often are we going to pay them? What's our frequency?
Quarterly is the usual frequency.
Yep. So here you're only going to be given two options. You either pay them quarterly or annually. Now, of course, it will depend on your company, right? Because we're brand new, right? You do have the option, depending on how big your company is. Since we only have like one employee, they don't mandate to have us pay right away. But if you're looking at a bigger company that has over 100 employees, you're probably expected to pay every week.
Okay.
But in this case, it's quarterly. Okay, next. Now we're going to be looking at scheduling our payment for the federal 941. Okay, so in this case, who are we going to be paying?
Same people, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, this one says the United States Treasury. But is it is it to the
Yeah.
F
EF.
T TPS, right?
EFTPS.
Okay.
EFTPS. Okay.
All right. And it's the same thing. See here now we have more a little more options that we can choose. We can either pay at the end of each payroll period. We can pay every monthly, quarterly, or annually. What is our option here?
Ours is quarterly.
It's okay. We'll be quarterly again. And we can go ahead and click next. Now this is us setting up scheduling payments for our California withholdings. So who am I going to be paying this time? This is a different EDD. Okay. And for this example it says here, okay, what number do I enter? I have no idea. What number do I enter down here?
I can't read it. I think it looks like 1, 2, 3, and then something else.
Yeah, it's 123-4, 5, 6, 7-8.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is okay. So 1, 2, 3 dash
4, 5, 6, 7.
No 8?
Yeah,
Well,
-8.
no dash
Right.
eight.
Oh, -8. Okay, I have no idea what number that is. Because my screen is too small apparently. Because it says California employment, and then there's words under here, and I can't see it.
It says California Employment Development Department Employer Act number. And then what number do you
Okay.
That's
do I
account
enter?
number.
It says.
Okay. All right. And then how often are we going to be paying them?
It's gonna quarterly.
Quarterly.
Also quarterly. Great. All right. Last but not least, our California, setting up our California UT, which is unemployment training, or I'm sorry, unemployment tax and employer training shops. Okay, so here, who are we going to pay? It says EDD.
Yes.
Okay, good. What is this number again?
123 4 5 6 7 -8.
Okay. And then lastly, how often are we going to pay them?
Quarterly again.
Same thing, quarterly. Okay. So now we can go ahead and click finish. Okay, so we just set up all three taxes that we are subject to pay. So yes, we need to pay the federal unemployment. We also need to pay for the tax withholdings, and we also need to pay for the California state unemployment. And that's it. I don't know what the 941 is, but it's definitely a tax that you have to pay. I'm not.
California. It's California, so it could be anything.
Actually, no, 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 no. So one of them is FICA, and the other one is the FUTA. So the one is for the unemployment for the federal, and the other one is for paying into the Social Security and Medicare.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue. So now that we completed our taxes, now we're gonna be looking at our year end. What does that say? Year end. Year to date payroll. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. So it's pretty straightforward. Let's just answer the questions, okay? All right. Has your employee issued paychecks this year? Have we? I'm gonna say
The company. It says no in the book.
wow. We not we okay, no. All right. So next. So we haven't. So what this does is basically it's just keeping track of things that you may have owed beforehand before writing your first paycheck. So for example, if you've had this employee for quite some time, right, and then all of a sudden you're switching to QuickBooks and you're using QuickBooks to do the payroll system for you, therefore then it's just adjusting the amount of taxes you owe. So in this case, we said no, we did not issue any checks. But if you press yes, then you're going to go through a whole series of questions on how many paychecks you've written, who did you pay them out, how much for the amount, X, Y, Z. What date did you pay them out for? So basically, it's just going to take all that information and it's going to piece it together and it's going to calculate all the taxes that you currently do owe. And in this case, we're going to be finishing up this part right here. So let's go ahead and go to Payroll Center. So yes, we finally have completed the payroll interview.
Okay.
Here you go. We're at the Payroll Center now. Okay. So this is where it's basically we can see what we have to do here. We can take a look at Katie. We can add our new employees, right? We can manage each employee's information, right? If you need to fix them, edit them, whatever it is, change the new employee details, whatever it is, print out the list, enter in time. If you don't want to enter it through the home page, you can enter their time here. Um, and yeah. Now, we're paying Katie as a every 2 months. Now, yes, you can choose if you would like to have all employees be set the same way. You can also have vice versa, where you can have alternate ones. So maybe the employees that are salary based, they get paid on the 15th and the 30th, while your other employees that are wage based could be based on every 2 weeks. Yes, you can do that, as long as you just keep track of it and have obviously enough money to pay for your employees, because you can't pay your employees if you have a negative a number amount in your bank. All right. So same thing with the employees, right? You have their information here. You're gonna have a list of all the pending. If they submitted a timesheet, you'll see it here, and when you pay them, you'll see it a pop here. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see what else we have left to show you. Okay. We already scheduled our tax pays, and because we selected no, we can skip that part there. Now, setting up employee defaults. Okay, so setting up employee defaults, right? So again, when this happens is every single time that you enter in a brand new employee. So for example, I'll go ahead and press a brand new employee, right? Setting up defaults is going to allow you to save you some time filling in every other person's employee sheets out. For example, right? I talked earlier. If you want to set all your employees to be paid on a biweekly, then you can go ahead and do that. And what happens is your information for every time you enter in a brand new employee will change, and reflect that you are going to be on a biweekly payroll. Okay. Other than that, that's like just the most common ones you could use for that one. Let's see what your book wants to do. I believe your book wants to set up other things that you can have in common with all your employees. So again, this can only happen to the new this when okay, start again. Start again. When you have one employee in here already, right? You have to have an employee in here first. Then you can go ahead and set defaults. Once you set defaults, any employee that you place in there after that will apply the default. Okay, but if I decide to just do a new employee and I fill in all that information and then I set the default, unfortunately, the employees that have not been that were added prior, before, after you setting the defaults, unfortunately, those ones you would have to fix manually. Okay, again, it's written in your book saying it only applies, the defaults only apply to the employees after you've set the default. Okay, so we're going to go to manage employees, and we're going to change new employee defaults. Okay, so here you're going to get this nice window. And basically, whatever items you want to default them for, whether they're an hourly or an annual rate, you can also depict that as well. You can choose what kind of pay schedule they're on. So, for example, I can choose that they could be on a bi-weekly or a right here says bi-weekly right here. Bi-weekly, or I can have them weekly, or I can have them semi-annually. In this case, I'm going to make sure that they're bi-weekly. What else does it say in your book?
Okay.
What else does your book want to?
For that, for what we just went over, you mean?
Yeah, I'm currently going over it right now.
Okay. Yeah, the next page it just says you're going down to QuickBooks displays dialog box, asking if date is correct. Okay, no, that's not what you're talking about. Let's see. The next box is new payroll schedule.
Okay. What do I enter in there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it's asking, do we want to have QuickBooks to assign this payroll schedule to all of the employees
Correct.
with a semi-monthly pay frequency? So, but that's what we're doing, right? We're
Mhm.
setting that as a default.
Mhm.
So yes.
Okay, there's no real thing here, but yes, I'm setting the default for biweekly. I want to apply all of that to my employees that when I start setting them up, instead of having to toggle on their side, right? On their information, I don't have to repeat myself every single time if I know this employee is going to be on a biweekly payroll schedule. So in this case, that's what I'm doing here. Do I have a class for them? Right?
Um,
Do I want to put all my workers in default that they belong to the San Jose or the Walnut Creek? I'm gonna leave that one blank because you know I can have multiple employees, and every time I set up a new employee, I don't want them to assume it's going to be for either or one of my locations. So that's what that is. All right, use this date to create paychecks. Do you want to use this date? I'm not quite sure. Okay, then the next one is going to be additions, deductions, and company contract. So basically, do I have any payroll items that I'm going to automatically apply to every single employee that I have? And in this case, it just depends on how I make them. If they're salary based, then yes, I'm gonna have them apply. But if they're hourly based, I'm not gonna have. The only thing I offer here is sick pay, and sick pay is only for our salary players, our salary employees. Okay. Okay, so I don't need to set this part up because I don't want to apply to every single employee that I entered into my new thing. So I'm going to leave that out. But for this earnings, I definitely want to make sure that I apply. Um, so this is where it's going to ask you, do you want to apply it as an hourly regular, or you want to do it as a salary regular? All right. In this case, I'm going to assume that all my employees that I'm going to be putting on from now on are probably going most likely to be hourly. Okay.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Do I have a set number of how much I'm going to pay them? No, because again, every position is different. If they're a beginner, if they're an intern, of course, you're not going to give them the, you're not going to, each person has a different wage rate. So in this case, I don't want to apply that. Okay. An employee is converted by a qualified pension plan. No. Okay. And then that's pretty much it. As far as setting up taxes, it's pretty straightforward. If I do set up my taxes, right, am I gonna set them up as federal? Okay, again, we cannot determine this part because every employee, right? They could be single, they could be married, they could be married using as single status, meaning they're filing separately. If they don't want to withhold anything, then yeah. So this is definitely something you wouldn't be able to do because taxes are based on the individual levels, especially when you're dealing with federal. But state taxes, I believe that applies to all. So we can say that they all belong to California. One more over. They all belong to California. And what other taxes? Okay, they're all belong to California. That's at least one thing that we can set right there is they're gonna get subject to California tax. And then I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. Yes. Okay. And then here, so they're going to be all of these. Okay. And then so I've set up all my taxes. I said that they're going to be bi-weekly for hourly pages, and that's pretty much it because everything else could be based on the employee that you're selecting and based on that. So it's going to be individually based. So in this case, that's the most that we can do. Most common would be setting everyone on the same payroll schedule. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So again, anyone now that if I were to apply a new employee in here, my assumption is that it's going to be let me see, where's my payroll information here. It automatically says that it's going to be bi-weekly, so I don't need to toggle it anymore. It's already automatically in there. Okay. And of course, anything else besides that, whether it's the taxes, that's obviously going to be over there. Okay. So here it's already automatically regular. Tells me right here that if I were to place this new employee in here, he's going to be an hourly regular, but how much am I going to pay him is going to be dependent on that, right? Bi-weekly. So that's an example of how to use employee defaults to set up to make it easier to set up other employees in your book or in your QuickBooks, right? Okay. Other than that, I believe that's pretty much it for setting up payroll. I mean, let me see what else is there. Changing employee payroll information, pretty straightforward. You just go in there and you can toggle it from there. The employees contact list report. Oh yes. So yeah, we can go ahead and look at that. We could do that by going to. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of this right here. No, I do not want to add another employee. Okay. So there we could see that. We could also go to our list and we'd be able to find out our contacts names. So other names, customers and vendors and employees, contact list. So here you could get your contact list from here. Hold on, let me look for it. I don't even see it. Payroll, memorized reports, temporary, other names list. Maybe it's under other names list. Let me see. I don't. Oh, let me see if it's under print forms. Print forms. Okay, I'm having difficult. Where does it say to go? Select the reports and then select lists and then select employees contact list. Oh, okay. So it's not under list. That's weird. It should be under list because that's where you could get the rest of your contacts. So it says customers and vendors. You have your customer type and your okay. I guess it's not there. So here under reports, it's going to be under your employees, which let me find it. Employees and payroll. Here you'd be able to find your contact list. Let me look for it. Employee contact list.
Okay.
All right, and that's where, in this case, we only have one. All right, Miss Katie Reynolds is our only employee, and yes, you can modify it. Maybe you only need their email address, whatever it is. You have it here. Okay. All right. Strange. Okay, so that is it for chapter 10. Let's go ahead and do the little review questions and then we can call it a day.
Okay.
So, number one, actually, well, first off, select the best answer for each of the following. So, number one, okay, okay, uh, an easy and convenient way to process payroll in QuickBooks for employees on a different payroll schedule would be to what?
B.
B.
Payroll schedule.
B. Use the payroll schedule function on QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, that is the correct answer because first, let's go ahead and look at move all employees onto a single schedule. Again, I've mentioned this before. You can have two different schedules as long as you just, you know, keep track of it and who's getting paid on what. You know, obviously, the employees that are getting paid twice a month is going to be on the 15th and at the end of the month. While your other employees, if they're bi-weekly, it's going to be every 2 weeks. So,
Mm-hmm.
A, no, you shouldn't move them all into one. B says use the payroll schedule, which yes, use the payroll schedule. Yeah, if you use the payroll schedule, it will be fine. It will let you know when your next payment for your employees is going to be based on using the payroll schedule. No, letter C says outsource payroll. Yes, you can outsource payroll, but that's not what the question is asking you.
Right.
D says make all employees
Independent.
independent contractors.
Yeah.
Okay. Now remember, there is a rule against that. If you've employed those people and you decide to fire them and hire them back as an independent contractor, unfortunately, by law, because they were your previous employee, you are going to hire them back as an employee. Just because you change the status because they're independent contractors, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be treated as a regular employee. So,
Mm-hmm.
if they've been a previous if they're an independent contractor and then you employ them, then that's a different thing. And that you're able to do. But no, that's obviously going to be wrong. Okay, so B. Which of the following payroll periods is not an option in QuickBooks?
D.
D. Semi-annually.
Exactly.
So, okay, well, yes, you could pay every quarterly. Yes, you could pay every other week. You could pay daily. And yes, D. Semi-annually. You can pay them every year. This is actually in QuickBooks you can't, but in general you can.
Mm.
In general accounting
Paycheck.
you can pay them every half a year. Usually typically that's like on an owner standpoint
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or a higher up. But in this case, who wants to get paid every 6 months? No
Seriously.
one. No one.
Mm.
All right, question number 3. Which payroll item cannot be created in payroll setup?
I got you can. D. All of the above.
Yeah.
Yes, you can
Mm-hmm.
create all of the above. Yes, you can
Mm-hmm.
create commissions. We just looked at
Right.
that. Yes, you can create bonuses. We just looked at that. Yes, if we selected yes that we offer medical insurance deductions, then yes, that would be an item you
Mm-hmm.
can create. But in this case,
Mm-hmm.
I said no, we don't offer anything for our employees. Then yes, but yes, you can apply it. You can create all of the above. Number 4, which is not an option, which setting what sorry, when setting up the accrual period. I'm sorry. Yeah, the accrual period for a sick and vacation pay.
Every hour on paycheck.
Wait, hold
I
on.
I put B, but I put a question mark by it.
All right.
You can't set an hour as a period, can you? I mean, that would be like that would be tough to
Yeah,
do,
that's true. Yeah.
to track.
Mm-hmm.
Every hour on a paycheck. Okay, so for this one, the answer is but it's number 4, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is D.
It is D. Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. That's chapter 3. My bad. Let me go back. For this one, for chapter, what the heck? Chapter
Yeah.
chapter 10. The answer is B.
Oh, it is B. Oh, okay.
All
I
right.
put a I put a question mark by it because I wasn't quite sure.
All right. So hold on. Chapter 10, question number 4 is B. Hold on. So it goes B, D, and D. For 3 is D. Okay, so yes, it is B. Which is not an option when setting the what is that accrual period
For
for
sick and
sick
vacation
and
time.
vacation pay time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's explore that. So the beginning of the year, is that an option that you can choose? Yes, you can set that as a beginning of the year, right? So you can tally up obviously all of your sick pays, right?
Right.
You can't just say, "Oh, you can do it whenever." They carry over. No, you have to set it at some kind of point. So
Right.
beginning of the year is correct. Every month, if you're like that kind of company where you can do that, every month seems kind of outrageous to have to
Yeah, it is.
recalculate how many sick days you can, because how many days are there in a month?
It's only 30 to 31. Yeah.
Only 30 to 31, but how many days
Mm-hmm.
is it legal to work?
Yeah, only 5 days a week.
Only 5 days a
40
week.
hours a week.
So if you
Right.
think about it, 5 days a week every month. So you're
Mm-hmm.
only looking at anywhere from 20 days. Now, are you going to reset that every 20 days?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every paycheck, I have to probably read this again, but if every paycheck well, yeah, which one is not? Yes, you can do every paycheck because ultimately you're looking at how they're getting paid, right? If you're
Right.
evaluating them based on how many days that they took off, then yes, that would be a way that you can set it.
Mm-hmm.
D says every hour of every on every paycheck. Well, yeah, of course. How else do you measure sick pay?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're on a regular, right? How many hours in a day do you have? You can record it and set it to every hour. That's why
Mm-hmm.
in the example that we did, right, they made us type in 200 hours,
Right. Right.
not 200 days, not 200 months.
Right.
It's 200 hours.
Right.
So,
Right.
yes. So D would technically
I
be.
didn't understand the question.
This one's kind of a weird question. You're
Yeah,
definitely
it
going to
is.
have
I
to
couldn't
read
look
this
them up.
section
Sure.
under setting up pay and sick days. Like why it's not like why you can't do it every month. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then number 5, the payroll setup interview will not allow you to what?
Add two employees with D. Add two employees with the exact same name.
Yes, D is the correct answer. A says edit the default names for payroll items. Yes, you can do that. We saw that. Remember, we changed hourly to hourly regular. So that is you can do. Associate deductions and withholding items with vendors. Yes you can do. Remember, we did
Mm-hmm.
that, right? An EDD, right, is a vendor to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can. Then C says set the pay rate for an employee. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
can. You can, but we
Mm-hmm.
chose not to because every employee can be different.
Right.
All right. So, good job, guys, everybody. That was chapter 10. Any other questions in regards to chapter 10? So, again, this is very, very, very